This is Pure Metal Gods. I'm Dan Cartwright, your host. I'm here with the legend himself, Scott Harrington, from Nuclear Assault, Salt of the Earth, and your new group. What?
Casting Shadows.
There we go.
Here
So,
we
how have
go.
you been, Scott?
I'm doing awesome today. Doing really well. How about yourself?
I'm doing good. I could be better, but we're living, right?
Right? Oh yeah, dude. No, dude. I'm doing awesome, and I appreciate you having me on. Thank you.
No, I appreciate you coming on. Hey, let me ask you some questions about nuclear assault because right there, what we talked about earlier, growing up, nuclear assault became like the thing, the big band, almost like Metallica for all the teenagers, you
Right?
know.
Yep.
So, how did you land the gig with nuclear assault, though?
Um. Let me think. It was many years ago. Basically, um, I knew John Conley, their singer, their guitarist, from he lived in New London, Connecticut, and I used to book this club, the LNG Club, which is a really it was an epic club in New London that was there for many years. Unbelievable shows. I got to know John through that, through quite a few times to where my band got to open for them a lot of times. Back then, I was in high school. I was in a band called Aimed Aggression, and we got a lot of the national acts that came in. We got to open for them, so it was awesome, and just got to know John that way. And then way, 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 way back then, I used to work for a company called Tweeter, etc., like home theaters and car stereo stuff. Like I love audio equipment, so I worked at this place called LNG, and John Conley happened to work at GNC there. He was albums and things like that, and he was off the road, and millions of dollars, I'm guessing. So he had to work. I got to know him personally then, like where he's a phenomenal guy. He's amazing. He's never you never quite can put your finger on him. Like he's always got something where you're like, holy shit, he can do that too. Like he's the dude's a ninja. I don't know if you knew that. He's a freaking ninja. He's like a quadruple degree black belt in whatever he studied. I mean, he's very friendly, very laid back and unassuming, but the dude's fucking unbelievable. And like I can remember the first time I went to a practice with him in that. It was in New London. It was in a building that was being renovated. He rent. I don't know how with the. I think he was doing some of the work on the place, and he had this whole flat that was wide open. Was there too, and I came in and he was doing some karate exercises, or well, it was with these two swords, and he was spinning them in this way where he doesn't have long arms. I have no idea how he was able to do this. Like it was so fast, and it like a magic trick, quite honestly. And his control was just unbelievable. But awesome guy. I got the gig because my band used to open for them, and he saw me play. He saw me perform, and he had a solo band. He some stuff for, and that led to new get back together in a way, like with all the original members. They did it. I don't know if you remember, they put out a live album, and Anthony Bramante was still playing guitar, and it was with all the original guys. It was pretty awesome. And at a certain point, Anthony didn't want to do it anymore. Like he couldn't commit to the schedule, and he didn't want to do it. So audition, and it was really cool. Their album Third World Genocide, which was their last. It, it was, it's just awesome to get like that, because what you were saying earlier about them being heroes, like yeah, and same to me. I grew up. I saw them live so many times as a teenager, and as a young teenager too. I have an older brother who used to bring me to shows, so I got to go to shows from a really young age on, and we drove all over to see Nuclear Assault. Like I can remember, I mean, all over New England seeing them, and They were amazing. Love that band. And I mean, I would say, that if there was everybody talks the big four as far as the metal bands go. I would say if there was going to be a big five or six, it could be argued that Nuclear Assault belongs somewhere up there. There's quite a few bands I think
Oh,
that,
I agree. I agree
but
with that. I mean,
Nu-
even Hallows Eve, they belong in there.
sure. Nuke though, man, they were a incredibly heavy band that was able to get quite a bit of notoriety. I mean, they got played on Headbangers Ball a lot. I mean, who doesn't remember? What was it? Handle with Care and stuff. Like, the video for that.
I remember those days, man. And you know what? It's a shame what MTV became.
It is what it is. I think though, and I think about this often because with the label and with everything we do, we have a YouTube channel. And this isn't a shameless plug, maybe it is, but it's not a shameless plug. With the YouTube channel, you know, if somebody told me when I was 16, 17 years old that I could essentially have a channel where I get to pick, the music, this, that, like, I mean, essentially do everything that I wish MTV used to do. And that's what we kind of try to do with our YouTube channel. Like we do a lot of behind the scenes stuff. We get to go to a lot of shows. We get to know a lot of the artists that do the stuff. So we kind of are able to see a side of things that not everybody gets to see. And I like to share that with peeps. So it's like when you say the Headbangers Ball and yeah, it was amazing. Kids these days though, and again, I mean, now I sound like, get off my yard kind of old dude, but kids, they don't, it's a whole different experience now. And I mean, it's all good. I like it both ways. I mean, it was awesome then. I
Oh yeah.
love the amount of things that we have at our disposal, at our fingertips, to be able to create things and to put things out there for the world. So I mean, I like how it is now. I mean, back in those days, we used to have to mail tapes, and you'd keep your fingers crossed somebody actually got the mail or it opened and they listened to it like that. Now it's like boom,
Trade
we
tapes,
can do a
man. I
lot
remember
more.
those days. I remember
Right?
those days.
Exactly. I still have,
Hey,
dude. I mean, but I'm a dude who too. So I mean, luckily my wife is very understanding. I have I have tape, CDs, vinyl. I literally have metal magazines. I used to I had every metal magazine from when I was in third grade on, and still have them. It's love this stuff.
no, that's awesome. Hey, so what was the whole I'm trying to figure out the correct word to use. Okay, what happened to nuclear assault, man? I mean, it's like they just kind of vanished. You know what I mean?
Sure. I mean, when you ask that, what would happen to them now, or what happened to I mean, it hit a certain point, and then it probably went as far as it could go. It like um Something Wicked. If you remember when that came out, Something Wicked, what an amazing album. They had a new guitarist, a new bassist, and it was excuse me. But the music climate at that point was definitely changing and stuff to where it eventually became impossible to be able to do it for a living, quite honestly. And I mean, the amount of work that goes into it. I don't know if you ever do play as well, or so if you've climbed in a van, even whether it was for a weekend, a week, 2 weeks, a month. I mean, it takes a certain
It
mind.
takes the tolls on you.
It
It
does. It
does.
does. So what I think, I mean, might have happened. I mean, you sometime in the '90s there, post Something Wicked. I think that it dissipated. Like it just the time wasn't right then, and then things started to get heavy again in certain ways. Where like maybe the nostalgia effect, people missed it. So Screaming, what was it, Screaming Ferret Records out of New Hampshire. The owner Tim was a huge is a huge Nuclear Assault fan, and he really put in a lot of work to get Nuke back together and to get them doing something. So they did. All four of them got back together, and they did some live shows that were really well received, and they did the live album. I think it's called Alive Again. I have it. Um, but also at that point, you had a lot of people doing other things. I mean, John's a teacher. um, he's and I'm not trying to share his business in that, but I mean, he's a teacher. He's got twins, him and his wife. I mean, he's
Yeah,
got.
let's be honest. Let's be honest. I mean, a lot of people look at musicians have this luxury lifestyle, and in all reality, you got to be on the road like Metallica and making a huge name for yourself to live off of your music. I mean,
That kind of thing.
regular
Yeah.
regular bands like me, you, your band, your
Hmm?
your guys starting out, they're not going to get that type of success to live off of the music.
No, 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 no. Right now how it is too, though. Just the way that the way music is searched out, the way it's consumed, the way people discover new things. There's so many different things people can choose from for their entertainment. So it's like you're vying to grab people's attention with this thing, but the great thing with that is you're able to, like, we have artists that are on the label that we do have some that do it constant, like that's what they do. We have others that do it at a level where it's, I mean, you probably would liken it to being like a really cool second job. Like, I mean, they're busy, and I mean, all of their vacation time, all their sick time, things like that, end up being used to do like a month-long tour. This, I mean, they do the work. They definitely still, but it is at a level that's not. It's nowhere near like what Metallica. I mean, that's a dream. That's amazing if somebody can achieve that. But there's still amazing things that can be accomplished in the underground. You know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah,
we
I get you. I mean, you know, I try and make it realistic for the audience, especially the new bands, to understand. The music industry is tough. Yeah, I mean, you know as well as I do. I mean,
absolutely,
it's brutal.
absolutely.
And but if you love the music, it'll love you back. But if you don't love it, it's
Then
gonna
you
be
won't last.
yeah, you're not gonna last. And but the truth of the reality is, you got to be one hell of a showmanship to get on the level like Metallica, to be out there. You got to know how to talk to your fans. You got to be humble. You got to be, there's a lot of things that goes into getting your band to be successful and interacting with the crowds. You know this as well as I do.
Absolutely,
And a lot of bands don't know how to market themselves. I mean, they got all the tools to their disposal,
so many
and
tools.
and they just don't know how to do it correctly.
It's a learning. If you think about it, man, it's a learning process, and I mean, a lot of times too, um, the tools that we have at our hands. I mean, to some people, they can be scary. Like, they're like, shit, I don't know how to do this stuff. And it's like, quite honestly, you probably do. And if you don't, you could figure it out in a couple hours. And it opens up, like, I really do like a lot. We I work with so many different bands and stuff, as far as with the record label. Certain bands, there's dudes that just don't want anything to do with social media and that. And I mean, it's a part of it is literally a part of what we do. And if you think
Let,
about
let,
it,
let's be honest. Back in the day, I didn't like doing interviews. I hated them. But now look at me. I'm doing a podcast. You know what I
yeah,
mean?
exactly. So when you think about that, man, it's another avenue for you to be creative. Do you know what I mean? It's like, I mean, it's and to get your message out and to spread the gospel of fucking loud. That's what this is about. So it's like, there, and when you say like a band like Metallica too, like, I mean, that kind of, that's like a once in a lifetime type level. That's like, there won't, I don't know that there can be bands that big again. I mean, that's like our era of the Rolling Stones, like of the, you know what I mean, like that
See, and
freaking.
that's what the groups don't understand. Like, I got this one group that I'm going to be interviewing next week, on this Wednesday, actually. And they want to live off the music. I'm all, dude, there's so many ways to live off of the music, but not the way that you're thinking. I'm all recording, you
Where are they
know,
from? Are they
Mark,
from?
Arizona.
So they're a U.S. band.
Yeah, I'll have to turn you on to them, see what you think of
Sure, sure.
it.
And I mean, again, but what you're saying there, Den, I mean, um, before owning the record label, I own a management company. I literally, we've managed bands. We've gotten them deals with Metal Blade, with Relapse, with Century Meat. Like, I mean, with all the big metal labels, we've gotten bands deals with all these awesome labels and stuff like that. And I mean, man, like once you get to that level, that's where the real work starts. It's like, I mean, boom, like just because you get there does not entitle you to new cars, new house. I mean, it's no, dude, that's
Oh,
where
it's a
the
lot
hard work
more
is.
than that.
Yeah,
Yeah, I get you.
it is
Um,
much more.
Believe it or not, one of the biggest key things to being a musician and being successful is making your contacts. Just like me and Scott were talking about a Mexican magazine that I know. I'm introducing him to Ismael from Morton magazine in Mexico. Am I right?
Exactly.
And and it's about networking. And
Networking.
if you can't help out each other, you're not going to get anywhere in this business. Am I right?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Like, without a doubt. That is key. I mean, quite honestly, Salt of the Earth Records, 313 Inc. Artist Management, that's our management company, things like that. That's a network that, you know, we've been building for I'm in my North 40s now, and I've been booking shows and actively in the industry part of things since I was like 15. So that whole amount of time, I mean, I'll be honest, man. If you're ever at a show and I drop dead, you want my phone because that has all the contacts that you would want in it, man. So,
I hear
and
you. I hear you
it's like
on that one.
30 years of building relationships, being of friends, and like that's another thing too, man. In music, people are after, like some people are, it's a monetary thing, like what you're saying there. Um, the bands that are on my label, and a lot of this, it's though that's an aspect of it. I mean, you do want to get paid and things like that, obviously, but it's also a creative thing. It's like this music needs to exist. It's, you know what I'm saying? It's like the world is a better place because these bands are writing, recording, performing, things like that. So not every benefit is a monetary one. There's payoffs in other ways. And again, that's not to say um, that the money part isn't important, because it is. I mean, shit. I've
You
got
know,
5 kids. I've got 5 kids, man. It's they don't feed themselves. Well, I you know what? Some of them are adults, so they do feed themselves. I'll correct
it,
myself now.
it's funny. I have people ask me, but you're not rich. I'm like, no, but I know what it's like to be famous.
Here we go.
The-
Right?
the- you know what? You get your name out there. You do every small, every big interview. You got to just keep rolling the dice on everything to get that exposure. And the more you do, the bigger your band will get. Am I right?
Absolutely, absolutely. That is 100% correct. It's I couldn't imagine a band not wanting to do it though. Do you know what I'm saying? But I mean, there are some bands, and usually my experience with it has been, say if there's 5 guys in a band, sometimes there's one or two that they really don't want to do a lot of this part of it, and okay, that's fine. I get it. Um, the world we're in, though, I mean, and
They want to
it
know who
is,
you are. They want to know about the
and
band.
exactly, man. That's something too. Like if you go to our YouTube channel, a lot of the I love behind the scenes stuff, man. Like I remember when being young, like I'm bringing home an album and I'm looking at the, like you pull out the record and you're looking at the artwork on the inside, and I used to love when they would include either band shots like in their rehearsal space, their band room. I loved to see where they create, where, like, you know what I'm saying, where like you just looking like what shit is on the walls. Like, I mean, shit, if somebody used to look in my office and stuff like that, you know what I mean? It's just, there's just, I like seeing where the creative environment is. Or also, if you remember back on the old Nuclear Assault albums, they'd be a collage of fucking personal photos, like just crazy things. Like it would
Oh
be like,
yeah, I
oh,
remember
remember
those.
that? Exactly. So I love that, because you'd sit there and you'd stare at it and you look at it and you try, just you're looking for these things. So it's like our YouTube channel, I like to give people, access, quote unquote. Not that I'm some fucking gatekeeper or something, but I I'm privileged to be able to do what I do, and I'm the type of person that I do like to share that with others. I mean, where appropriate, you know what I'm saying? Where it's like, so, you know, who wouldn't want to be able to see, I don't know, a great producer like Zeus, who's produced amazing things. He's done so many great albums. I mean, to be able to watch him work, I mean, wouldn't that be awesome? Like just to be able to have a chat with him where you're like, all right, those are things where it's like,
No, I agree 100%. Hey, after you left Nuclear Assault, I know you got your new band now. How did you get into that group?
it was about 20 years later. So when I as I was growing up, I used to, play, tour, do I hit a certain point where um I had many kids at that point. Like I have a big family. We started our family young, you know, and I would say it was like 2001. I think I had three daughters at that point, and I decided, you know what, I don't want to climb in a van right now. I just, like you go through seasons in your life, I would say, and I stopped playing out live. And at that point, all of the calls and things for bookings and like, do this, do that kept coming in. And it dawned on me that, hey, I would like to help all these other bands that we've always played shows with, people that, that I've booked, this and that. I'll start doling some of those things out to other people. And that's how it started with us managing bands. Like essentially that's where 313 Inc. artist management started, was because I was like, look, I want to be around my kids. I want to be able to build this thing. And I was able to do that. So it was like years. And I know the question was, how did I go from one band to the next? Over the years, I've managed bands, and then we started Salt of the Earth Records, and I get to work with all these bands, and certain ones we do. I get to do pre-production stuff with. I'm involved in so many of the aspects of it that I honestly didn't know I missed it. Some people would ask, because I mean, we put on festivals, we put on so many shows, and I stopped playing live, and like, don't you miss that? And no, not at all. I was completely fulfilled. I love working with all these amazing artists and stuff. I mean, it's that, quite honestly, I love that part of the business,
You were
and
content.
love it. And dude, and then eventually what happened is we had this band that that in New England that we had signed, that we wanted to work with, and they were a 5-piece. They lost one of their guitarists. They didn't lose. He had left, and it ended up, I started jamming with them, and I freaking loved it. It was, the songs, the catalog of songs that they had at that point, I started woodshedding and just spending, an insane amount of time to learn everything. And I was like, well, fuck yeah, that's awesome. And then,
Well, what I heard from that video clip that you sent, I was like, yeah, this shit rocks, man. I really dug it.
it is, it's heavy stuff, but we have this great singer. Like he's a hard rock singer, like, for lack of better descriptions. I mean, he can sing, and so just the
No doubt, man.
juxtaposition
You know who you kind of remind me of? Jeff Tate.
wow, dude,
Yeah.
we'll take that. He's phenomenal, and we're right now we're writing a new album. That's going to come out who knows when, but we're working on that, and we get to play some awesome shows where it's a blast. I The dudes in the band are friends of mine that I've known from the scene for many years. Actually, the bassist works for Salt of the Earth Records as well. So I mean, it's been very natural in that sense, me joining. But it was literally 20 years, pretty much to the day, when I played my first live show again, and we've played a ton of shows since then. And I fucking love it, dude. It is. I missed it and I didn't know it. So now, now not only do we, own and run an independent record label, we manage bands, we book festivals and tours and stuff like that. We run a YouTube channel, You know, we have a whole social media section where we do everything, and then on
I
top of
checked out your YouTube channel. I did check that out.
you see some of that Thunderbird Divine stuff in there.
Yeah,
It's
you know,
stellar.
I really love the new video, and that was a straight up rock song,
Yep,
if I say so myself.
yep, it is. Oh, dude, it is. That I their singer Eric, who you had spoken to. I've worked with him.
He's a comedian, man. Eric's a
I love him.
comedian. I love him, man. He's
I love
awesome.
him. Like flat out, he is one of my favorite humans on the planet. Like he's awesome. And I'm trying to think. I think we've worked together. He used to be in a band called Wizard Eye that I was managing them, helping them with some stuff. And then that band broke up. And when he was like he was he was trying to figure out what his next steps were, and I got to be involved in that as far as like putting together Thunderbird Divine, which what a beautiful band. Like just the guys in the band are fucking amazing. The music
You
is
know, you know who they do remind me of?
oh,
Old Allison in Chains. They really do. The way he sings,
sometimes
and
that's
yeah,
a compliment.
when you hear a couple of the songs, it's like you actually think of, you know, the Rooster or Wood, the way he does
Yeah.
the tones. And I
Yep.
was like, yeah, he would be a great frontman for Allison in Chains. By the way, we got less than 7 minutes, all right?
Okay.
Um, let's move on about that.
Sure.
I'm gonna ask you some guitar techniques when in recording real quick. How do you like to layer your tracks down on guitar?
You know, it's funny because we're demoing stuff right now in Casting Shadows. So in our rehearsal space, we have, you know, Pro Tools and all that. And this is my first time demoing stuff like that with this particular, you know, with these guys, with my friends in the band. And dude, I love layering shit. I would consider like I'm one of those dudes who growing up I spent 8 to 10 hours a day with a metronome, like fucking just learning. And then I would say I hit 19, 20 years old and I said, fuck all that shit. And I really, I think my playing got noisy in a way. Like I love harmonics and I love just I love stomp boxes. I love like things where just, you know, like I love to create textures
You,
and
yeah,
color. So it's like, and I say this because one of the videos I'm working on is us demoing just on Sunday, and me and the other guitarist that's in Casting Shadows. He's this dude Adam Bice, he's a monster. And this guy can play guitar phenomenally, and it was like he and I were working on that. Like there's a section in the song where it breaks down, and we're working on these layers and planning things out, and like I I'm the kind of guy that I'm bringing a talk box to the next session. We're putting. I mean, I like to color on things, and when
I
you say
love that.
that's like I love different sounds, and I love to explore that. You know, smoke some weed, get in a great headspace, and then you know just try things like see what feels great, and
Okay,
that's what we're doing.
check this out. When you're layering down your tracks on your chorus, are you doing quadruple on your guitar tracks or are you doing your standard doubles?
I mean, it depends on the song and the album. In my catalog of music that I've recorded, that I've played on, I've done doubles and I've done quadruples. Certain ones though, I wasn't the one mixing it. So in the end, did they use the quadruples or the I at this point I wouldn't even know. I just know I like how it sounds now. So um I would say this is I like to be rehearsed well enough that I can double and quadruple what I'm playing and have it work. But then I like little mistakes and stuff too, where like it's like, oh, you know, that's slightly off, but it gives you a you know this little chorusy type effect, things like that. So
Oh yeah,
uh
I love those when you're off
happy
beat, off
mistakes.
tempo, man. It's, you know
The
what?
feel. It's all
Yeah,
about
it's about the feel, man. And
yeah,
you know, when you hear the new groups out there that are like, you know, just like straight on
super
like a
precise.
computer. Yeah, and it's like, what happened to the texture, the feeling, Because I never recorded with a metronome. I hated
Me neither, dude.
it.
Like I practiced to one in my bedroom for decades, but I always like albums that I've recorded in that. And one of my best experiences ever, in the studio was I was in a band. It was called Minus, and we recorded with Zeus, he's Rob Zombie's producer. He's produced Shadows Fall. He's produced Hatebreed. He's like you name it. He's Queensryche. He's done all this. I mean, he's amazing, and I got to do a lot of work with him, and it was amazing. Like I learned so much just by being with him, and a lot of it too, man. It's happy mistakes, like Bob Ross says. You know what I mean? It's like when you're recording something, you might fuck something up, and you're like, oh wait, that captured something, and it's not a fuck up. All of a sudden, it goes from being like to being that was a beautiful mistake. So I believe in that. I mean, you just try things, be open to it. That's one of the things I've been focusing a lot on in since joining Casting Shadows is I like to I want to be open when we're writing. I want to be open to, when I put something out there, let them do as they do with it, the guys that I play with, and also be open for them to, move things of mine. And like I don't consider something fully written until everybody's put the thumbprint on it. Like it's that's just for me. I
Oh,
enjoy
that's cool.
talking about this stuff. It's fun because a lot of the times when I do an interview or something like that, we talk about completely other things, but
No,
music.
but you see, Pure Metal Gods is about the music. It's about what goes on in the industry, the behind the scenes that no one ever talks about.
Right?
And that's the thing that I want to build the reputation of the magazine, the podcasting around the
Yeah.
music, the creation. What goes into being a working band, what goes into being a working guitarist.
Yep.
Um, by the way, on the next episode, me and Scott are going to get back together and we're going to talk about Salt of the Earth Records and some of the groups that he has on there and what he expects from his groups and what touring schedules they have and what does he like to do, how does he like to work the touring around the states.
Yeah. Sweet. You know, I look forward to talking about that as well as I take huge pride in the fact that our bands have toured in Europe. I mean, it's people. I don't know. People don't know the amount of work that goes into that. Um,
That's what
behind.
we're gonna. That's
There
what
we
we're
go.
gonna talk about on the second one. We're gonna talk about the work visas that they
Right.
need for the countries. I mean, because a lot of people don't know, it comes out of our pocket, not the record
Yeah.
label. And don't forget the insurance, the artist insurance that you need to be out there for medical.
Or then would it like certain situations like sometimes you have bands with members that aren't welcome into other countries because of
I
criminal
was,
records and things like uh,
there's
I
so
work in
much
the
things that
underground
goes on.
metal, and I'm not here to judge or any of that because I mean everybody's got their paths and they do their things, but that is a part of this when you're setting something up and all of a sudden somebody didn't tell you that. Oh, you're like, oh shit, and
I
it
can't
can,
get into Canada because of this. I owe child support.
Canada's tough.
Oh
Canada's
man.
tough.
Well, we're gonna get into
All right,
this on the next episode. Trust me, you're not gonna want to miss it.
I would agree.
My name is Ralph.
And I'm Nikki.
And together we are
Crash Karma.
And you are watching Pure Metal Gods.
Pleasure and support Pure Metal Gods, you motherfucking lovely bunch of bastards.
This is Vincent Crowley, and you're listening to Pure Metal of Gods.
Hey, what's going on? This is Valix from Black Pestilence, and you're listening to Pure Metal of Gods magazine.
Hey, this is Mike from Nocturnus AD, and you're listening to Pure Metal God.
Hey guys, this is Aimless Death. This is Quinn, Stefan, and Tom. and you're watching Pure Metal Gods.
That's from the band called Slave King, and you're watching Pure Metal
Gods, motherfuckers!
Max Cavalera here, man. Sending you good metal vibes. Good luck with your podcast. Good company. Keep it metal. Keep supporting the metal world, the whole universe of metal.
This is Sasha.
And Andre
from Major Moments.
You're watching Pure Metal of Gods on YouTube.
Rock on.
Hello, my name is Tommi Manninen and this is Sketch Open! And you are listening and watching Pure Metal of Gods magazine on YouTube. Let's rock!
Hi guys, this is Demon's Prophecy, and you're listening to your Pure Metal of Gods on Fuck yeah!
This is Matt Miller,
And this is Jordan Kelso.
and you're watching Pure Metal of the Gods magazine on YouTube.
Hey, this is Jeff Becerra for that. And you're watching Pure Metal of the Gods. Stay blessed, stay possessed.